What's up, meatbags? It's the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGG coming at you with another Is It That Bad? The only series on YouTube that takes a look at critically panned games and asks the age-old question, is it that bad? Now today we're going to be looking at Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. That's right, the infamous game set in the World of Darkness universe. So we're going to take a quick look. Let me give you some information about this before we get into the gameplay. Now, Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood, or we'll be calling it from now on just Werewolf the Apocalypse. It was developed by French studio Cyanide Studio. They're famous for the PC series Pro Cycling Manager, games like Blood Bowl, Styx Master of Shadows, and Styx Shards of Darkness. So you know this is a reputable studio. The game was published by Nacon, who actually owns the studio Cyanide Studio. They own like 10 dev studios. Now it's available on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and of course PC via the Epic Game Stores. Now, it has wild pricing on all these different platforms, so we're just going to go over it real quick. But on the PS4 and PS5, you're looking at a base cost of $49.99 with a $12.99 Champion of Gaia DLC, which adds some cosmetics and adds a little helper. Now, you also have an Exiled one, which is a purely cosmetic DLC. That's $4.99. Now, right now, there is a sale on PS4, PS5. You got a bundle. The bundle is going to be $23.99. You get the DLC and the base game, not the $5.99 cosmetic DLC. No, just the $12.99 DLC. Now, on PS4, for some reason, it's actually a lot cheaper. It's $11.99 for that bundle, but this is only until the 29th of September. So if you're watching this video after the 29th of September, you're going to have to pay the full price for the bundle, which is $59.99. Now, on the Xbox family of consoles, you're looking at the exact same pricing, except for there's no sale. So you're going to have to pay full price for it. Now, on Epic Game Stores, things are a little bit different. The DLC is priced the same. However, the base game is only $29.99. And the premium edition, which is the DLC, the $12.99 DLC plus the base game, that's going to run you $39.97. Now, for that price, you're probably expecting a full game. However, you're only going to have a 10-hour experience if you do all the side missions and you do the main story. If you just go for the main story, you skip the side missions, you're going to be able to speed through this in about 8 hours. Now, if you're a completionist and you want every single thing in the game and every side mission, every little nook and cranny, it's only going to run you about 13 hours. Now, if you play it on easy, you're probably going to be able to speed through it real quick. You'll just skip most of the sections and just go straight to the combat. We're going to get a little bit more into what I mean by that, but trust me, this game is going to be a breeze on easy. On normal, it's a little bit harder, but not too much. And then on hard, it's just a lot more enemies and a kind of a pain in the ass. Now, the last thing we should mention before getting into the gameplay is that it is, like I said, based on the World of Darkness tabletop RPGs. You're talking Vampire the Masquerade, things like that. It's part of that world. And with it comes a huge amount of lore, which this game does not even bother explaining to you. Things are just left to your own imagination. If you have no idea, if this is your first Werewolf the Apocalypse experience, you're going to be lost. You're going to be completely confused as to what's going on, why there's certain rules, why things are the way they are. And in fact, some of the things in this game actually contradict the lore provided in the previous material. So if you are familiar with it, you're going to get pissed off for that too. So it's going to be a real wild ride.
Profit to be had here.
Now, here is the gameplay gist of Werewolf the Apocalypse. You play as Cahal. You're a member of a tribe. Some things happen early in the game. You leave this tribe, but as fate has it, you're going to come back and you're going to reconnect with the tribe, and you're going to help them in a group of eco-terrorists trying to take down an evil corporation called Enron. That's right, just like Enron, but with an extra D in the middle. That makes it subtle. Now, in the game, you're going to have little hub worlds, and you're going to be able to explore, talk to some people, make some choices. None of this actually matters. Your choices, they don't matter for nothing. There's a choice right at the end of the game. It just, gives you two different endings, sort of a bad ending, sort of a good ending. Not much difference between the two, so just pick whichever choice you want when you get there, if you actually decide to play this game. As you can see, the voice acting, very weak. The graphics in the game, subpar. And as far as the actual gameplay, well, let's talk about that. Now, with a game called Werewolf the Apocalypse, you're probably thinking, man, this is going to be an action-packed game. You're going to go in there kicking ass, taking names. However, that's not the core mechanic in this game. No, the core mechanic in this game is stealth. That's right. You're going to have to go in there and stealthily take down guards, disable monitors, plant things, plant bombs, do different terrorist type things. The whole point of the game is to be stealthy as possible. They don't actually want you to turn into a werewolf. However, thankfully, the game actually does not care if you just decide to just go full-blown werewolf, just go out there and kick ass and fight enemies. So you're probably asking yourself, if the game doesn't care that you just go out there and kick ass and take names, why is the gameplay so much stealthy? Why is the stealth in the game? Well, the point of the stealth is to thin the herd, make the enemies less, disable some of the doors in which enemies appear. None of that actually seems to matter though, because if you actually play the game and you do all the things they want you to do, it doesn't seem like the amount of enemies you face is any less than if you just go in there full-blown and start attacking everybody. So again, this is a failure of the game. It does not seem any easier or any harder if you actually take the time to do the stealthy approach as you see on the screen here.
Fine, now go. I'll meet you with Rafik. I'm done fucking around.
That's right, in certain parts of the game your guy just says he's done with it, he's gonna go ahead full-blown werewolf. And again, you can just access this almost any time during the stealth sections by just letting the enemies see you. Now they call the werewolf a Krynos. Not that it really matters. You don't even know why it's called that, what it means. But as you can see here, you just go in there whooping ass. Guys are just being flung around like ragdolls. Nothing feels like it has any weight. Nothing feels like the enemies are actually getting hit. When you hit them, they really have no... they don't shrug. They're not being thrown off balance. You can get constantly shot by a shotgun while you're actually attacking enemies, which is weird because you would think a giant werewolf smacking the shit out of people would actually make them back up, maybe, stop shooting at you, maybe even run away in fear. None of that happens in this game. Now, being a werewolf, obviously some of the enemies in this game will have silver bullets and they will give you silver damage, which makes it harder for you to attack, makes it harder for you to do your moves. It's basically like a debuff getting hit with these silver bullets. They don't do any real damage. Nothing really does any real damage to you, at least not on easy or normal. Now, spoiler alert, right in the opening of the game, they go ahead and kill off your wife. That's right. That is your motivation. Your wife dies. You have to fight this big monster. You do get a second stance. It's a more plotting, less agile stance that you're going to use against bosses and things like that. But realistically, you don't even need it. It just makes your guy move really slow, makes his moves be real slow. His attacks are slow. It's a lot more powerful, but so slow it's really not good for combat. It doesn't make it flow well, and it doesn't feel good. Now, the music in this game is probably the best thing. As you can hear, it sounds good. It's not kind of a rock and roll type thing, a little heavy metal-ish. The sound effects, those are good too, but everything else is just subpar. The voice acting, the story, the script, the motivation of the game, the little hub worlds, the little extra things you do. Even all the RPG mechanics they try to cram into this game really feel unnecessary. They don't add any weight to your character. Your character is not going to get any better by actually participating in the RPG mechanics. You can just skip it and just go through the combat without actually leveling up your character and adding the skill trees, and nothing's going to happen. It's that simple of a game. It's that easy of a game. It all feels tacked on is what I'm saying. So that begs the question, is it that bad of a game? And the answer is, yeah, it is. It's pretty bad. I feel like I've been ripped off because I did buy this at full price in order to make this review, in order to look at the game. It is a waste of money. Do not buy this because it really is that bad. I've seen a couple reviews out there in which people said it was actually a pretty good game. I don't know what those people were smoking, but I want some because this game is horrendous. Like I said, from the voice acting to the story to the actual gameplay, nothing feels good. Nothing feels fully fleshed out or developed. Even the motivations of the characters, they go and just wildly have no emotions, have no weight to their actions. As you can see right here, the main character kills one of his clanmates, and it's just kind of a whatever moment. Like I said, the biggest thing in this game, the stealth sections. There's no real reward for actually doing it. It just feels like a wasted opportunity. Avoid this game at all costs. It is not worth it. And if you do somehow decide to get it, if it is free on PS Plus Premium, so if you're like, hey, let me check it out anyway, uh, don't waste your time on a DLC. It's strictly cosmetic, not worth it. Now we are going to be going from a game that has been critically panned, saying that it was very bad, to a game that was critically panned not for gameplay reasons, but for a slightly different reason. Because next month we're going to be taking a look at Omega Labyrinth Life, a game that many people think is bad because it's just too sexy. Until then, it's been fun. Love, peace, booty grease. I'm out this bitch.